Ten Hag to Bayern Munich on their shortlist. We kind of knew about this a couple of days ago. We've already talked about that, so we don't need to get into too much of that. What I want to talk about today is what that means now it's in the public domain. What does that mean for Ten Hag? What does that give him in negotiating and where his future lies with Manchester United or Bayern Munich? Wherever he's thinking, it's all a little bit up in the air at the moment, but I think what's happened is definitely in favour of Ten Hag. I'm going to explain why, so stay with me on that one. Ten Hag has been doing a lot of talking as well. A lot of the embargoed version of the press conference from last Thursday has come out. Some interesting statements and some interesting comments from Ten Hag in that. Jose Mourinho, Jadon Sancho, what he's demanding from INEOS as well, Ten Hag, what he wants. He is fully looking ahead and not letting anything get in the way of what the prize is right now, Ten Hag, and what he sees as the future for Manchester United. Do you give him credit for that, or is it just delusional? You tell me. We'll get into the show. We're live. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's match day. The weekend is almost over. Bank holiday Monday here in England, and everyone is just looking forward to, well, let's hope it's a good night for Manchester United. A chance for us to actually get some points on the board, because as you can see from the table below, me and Jay discussed this last night. It's not looking good for Manchester United. In tonight's game, we'll touch on it more in the warm-up later on as well, but there are a few things that are affecting the game tonight as well from the news over this weekend. We'll get into all of that. Give the video a like. Please subscribe to Forever United TV. Welcome along, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastic. I hope you've had a good weekend. It's not been that stressful because we've not played yet. That is all to come tonight. But Ten Hag's comments from the press conference from Thursday, the embargoed version, and a lot of what was said after the cameras went down, it would seem, because there's no footage of any more Ten Hag comments, is quite interesting. Really interesting, actually. So I look at it and I'm going through it all and I'm like, this is a man that's actually quite confident right now. This is a man that all of a sudden has got a new lease of life. We talked about demeanour last week and how it seemed a bit downbeat. And I've talked about how the PR stunt from Sky and Manchester United this week has made everyone think that Ten Hag is this manager that has barely put a foot wrong and has been really harshly treated to at the football club. But he just comes across right now, Ten Hag, as very bullish, very confident, and I'd say determined, but more as if he knows what's going on. Like, he knows what the future brings for Manchester United, and him in particular. And that's what I wanted to make this video about. So with the news of Bayern Munich putting him on the shortlist, like, it's old news. We talked about this 2 days ago, so I think what's more important is the context of that actually being announced and coming out, and Bayern talking to his agents there and his representatives, and what that means for Ten Hag in the situation that he's in right now, and what do Manchester United do about this as well. Akash Paul with the super chat, below the belt from Bayern, quoting Eric Ten Hag publicly. Nothing's below the belt in football these days, I'm afraid, Akash. I totally understand what you're saying, buddy, but it's just the way that football works. Unfortunately, it's the way that managers are dealt with now, and the way that big clubs approach. The managers will say something on camera. The agents and the agencies do all the dirty work behind it. It doesn't matter to anyone. I think it's just the rule of the land right now with how it's all done. But is Ten Hag bothered? Is it enhancing his position right now at Manchester United? That's what I want to get into, because let's look at it from Manchester United's side of things right now. You've got a manager sat there, and this is INEOS that are just coming in. They've just fired everybody. They've just seen the PR stunt from the club and pushing Ten Hag positive out into the public, and they're looking at it and going, well, realistically, and I said this the other day, and this is how I thought INEOS might be looking at it right now. Without saying anything, INEOS have pretty much said that Ten Hag was never backed at Manchester United, because they've sacked everybody above him that's been part of Ten Hag's reign at the football club. So that, in my eyes, is INEOS saying, look, we think that this manager's had a hard time. He's not had the support that he's wanted. We've supplied new staff all the way from top to bottom to benefit the manager and give him the best chance possible of having a good go at Manchester United and taking us back up. That's what it looks like to me. Now, it could be just a case of putting people in place ready for the manager being sacked after the FA Cup final. We don't know. It could be either one. But if you're Manchester United and you're looking at the Bayern Munich situation right now, and them coming in and making it public that they have approached Ten Hag's representatives, they know that he is and has got 1 year left on his contract. So as a manager, and like Kakash said there, is it bad that Bayern are making it public and they're approaching Eric Ten Hag? Is Eric Ten Hag bothered? Manchester United cannot really complain right now. They've got nothing on the table for Ten Hag. They've given him nothing in terms of a commitment after next season, even if he starts next season, for one. They've not even given him full commitment, it would seem, well, definitely not public, for carrying on after this season. So United looking at this now, they're going, right, we've got Bayern Munich who actually want this manager now. Why do they want this manager and we want to get rid of him? They're actually in a much better position than us right now, with better players, let's say better structure, definitely. Why are they after Erik Ten Hag? Is this a case of, like, when someone else wants what you have got, do you start automatically thinking, well, right now it's like, why are we having other people coming for what we've got? Why have we got people coming for our asset? Why are they in for our manager? Like, it could be a complete ploy. It could be done by the agency of Erik Ten Hag. It could be all set up. Like, they could have just released that. Like, Bayern Munich may have just contacted the agency, and there's been no discussions. Let's get that straight. They may have just contacted representatives of Ten Hag and gone, look, what's the situation as it is right now? We're just making sure that we've got all our eggs in our basket. And the agency's just come out and said that. Like, it might not have even been Bayern Munich that brought this out publicly. They could have just come out and said, look, we've been approached by Bayern Munich. They could be strengthening Ten Hag's position at United. Like, look, if you don't commit to our client, Ten Hag, then we've got options elsewhere at bigger clubs right now. So what do you want to do? I just think Ten Hag now is in the box seat. He has got full control over his own destiny right now. In terms of the managers that Bayern Munich are linked to alongside Ten Hag on this shortlist, like, who is better? Is there anyone better than Ten Hag? That he is fourth choice right now. So then you got to look at it from that side as well. Ten Hag, he knows that Tuchel's going. Why is Tuchel going? Like, that is a fantastic manager, and Ten Hag knows this. He's completely outwitted him twice this season already, and he's in the Champions League semi-final and everything that Tuchel has won. Why is Tuchel leaving? Why did Nagelsmann leave? Why does Tuchel not want to go back and has now publicly said that he doesn't want to go back? And why has Nagelsmann turned them down? Why has Ralf Rangnick turned them down? Why did Alonso decide to stay at a smaller club, respectfully, at Bayer Leverkusen, even though they're the champions? Why have they done that? So Ten Hag now is looking at this going, am I actually a fifth choice here? Like, where am I on this list that's been leaked out by Ten Hag's agency or Bayern Munich that we're looking for within a new manager? Why am I so far down that list? Like, you've got to look at everything when it's all put together. And I think Ten Hag, if anything, Bayern Munich-wise, I don't think he's too bothered, to be honest. I would say, looking at how I've just described it, where he is on the list, he's not really thought of that much. Like, he's only there because everyone's turned Bayern Munich down. Like, so straight away, if I'm Ten Hag, I'm looking at it and going, yeah, I kind of like feel like I was like the last one to be picked on the playground right now. So I'm not really looking at that in much detail. But what this can do, and this is what agencies also do as well, is like, let's hype this up a little bit and make this seem like I'm a man in demand. And then all of a sudden, I'm on 1 year left on his contract. There's no one out there for Manchester United to go and get, apart from maybe Tuchel. So this, I think, is just strengthening the position of Ten Hag right now. And I feel like this is where he holds all of the cards and is in complete control and power. Because you only have to look at the way he's talking right now. Like that bullish comment that he set up with Sky last week from the press conference. The way he's now talking about Jadon Sancho even more. It's all talking about the future. It's all talking like what is coming up for Manchester United, and he's doing a lot of that. Is he doing it deliberately because he can say whatever he wants? And as a manager, you've got to back yourself, even if you do think that there's a good chance that you're going to be leaving. You're going to start bigging yourself up, aren't you? It could be that, but realistically, when you look at it, with 1 year left, no idea of when an extension is going to come, if he's going to get one, if he's even going to be in the manager's seat right now at Manchester United next season. This has just made it a lot better for Ten Hag. In fact, Harry Maguire being injured for tonight's game has made it better for Ten Hag in a way. It's just strengthening his statement regarding injuries and things like that. And I just think, do you know what? It's all fallen into place for him because he's in a win-win right now. It'd be like he's bigged up all of the injuries and said within his 10 years of managing, I've never had an injury situation like this. And if he wins tonight, then it looks good because he's dealing with this absolutely ridiculous situation with all these injuries. If he loses tonight, he's got the excuse already set up, and everyone talking about it this week about how hard it is and the hard job that he's had to deal with. And like everyone's like, well, what do we expect? We've got all these players injured. He's got the perfect position right now, Ten Hag. And with Bayern Munich coming in and his agency pushing all of this out as well, it just looks like it's all set up perfect for him to go into the end of this season and like just sit there, do my job. If the players don't like it, I don't care right now. I'm in the control box and they have to make the decision. It just... it could have, honestly, for me and how I see everything going down with United right now, I thought, you know what? I wish it wouldn't have gone to the... I wish it wouldn't have got to this level. I wish it wouldn't have just fallen down to the point where we've got no squad left. We're clinging on for nothing. All we're waiting for is to get spanked by City in the final. And you know what? I'd have loved Ten Hag to actually have just turned this around properly, without the excuses. Actually got into the Champions League. When Sir Jim took over, United were, 4 points off? And we failed since then. We failed miserably since then. So it's all right saying injuries have caused this problem. I'm sick to death of looking at Ten Hag quotes and seeing injuries all over it. I'm going to come to the chat now and then move on to something past that I want to talk about as well, actually, which is very interesting. First of all, straight into the chat we go with Modern Samurai dropping in 5 memberships. Thank you so much, mates. Really appreciate that, you legend. Hope you're having a great day over there in Florida. Madhouse, happy one. A Chinese name. I think that's Anthony, actually. Tony and MK Fox, welcome to the Members Club. Please do jump across to the Members video on the channel, guys. The link for the watch-along on TIFO for the Crystal Palace game tonight is there. I want you there. I want you involved. We have some more technical stuff, some more widgets and stuff added to TIFO for tonight's game. So I want you all in there. As many members as possible, guys, please, if you can. That'd be fantastic. Where are we at? Henry says, afternoon, Adam. Just a thought. Do you think Thomas Tuchel is in line for the Liverpool job? Your opinions, please. I don't think he is. No, like, compensation's been agreed with Slot now, so I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Liverpool want Tuchel. I don't think they want to try and mimic Klopp. I'm not just saying that because they're both German, both from Dortmund and things like that, but it just doesn't fit, like, weirdly. Like, it's hard for me to explain, but I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. I don't think they want to bring in and try and replicate that German Klopp-style football. I think Tuchel is different anyway, but you know where I'm going with it. I just think it needs to be something completely different for Liverpool right now. They've got that transitional period coming up, and it's going to be really difficult for them. Number 7 says, people calling Leverkusen super team, laugh out loud, was a one-off hit wonder, I think you meant by that there, number 7. Like Leicester, also a super team for winning the league once. Oh, we don't know. Let's see what they do next season, but I know what you're saying by that. Sound out Alonso, next big thing, says Jack. Stephen Williams, Hag can select shite players and throw the rest of the season to get sacked and get a big payout. What's Klopp got to do with this? They could win 3 trophies without losing a single game. In what planet is that Tuchel's fault? Oh, that must be someone else talking and arguing amongst themselves. What have we got in here? This club is in chaos regardless of who is at the helm. Truly unfortunate. That's from Modern Samurai again. I just can imagine McKenna out-managing Hag if Hag stays next season. I don't think McKenna's going anywhere, even if Ipswich have a bad season. Like, he will be there longer next season in the Premier League than Ten Hag if he keeps his job. I think you're right on that one. I think that is a good bet to have, actually. Eric Ten Hag's either been backed or he's seen the sizzle of the check coming his way. Which one? Sizzle of the check. I like that one. That's a good one. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the injury side of things with Ten Hag, actually. And what's actually been said with Ten Hag, first of all. Let me just bring up what he's been talking about. For over 10 years, I am managing. I've heard this before. I never was so many injury issues. This is just word for word translation, guys. Now in some positions we don't have choices. In the left back position, Shaw has had only 15 starts this season, and Thuram last year has had 0 starts, and he's not even available. 10 years again. I never had this experience. So huge, so many injury issues. It can happen once in 10 years. Hopefully now it can wait another 10 years. Is he just ignoring the fact that every single team in the Premier League, barring Manchester City because they get all of the luck, and Arsenal, and no coincidence that them two are both top and running away with it, have had major injury issues? Like Chelsea have had more than us. Newcastle have had more than us. Oh, and yes, both of them are ahead of us in the league and actually playing all right football, Eric. The problem you've got is you talk about injuries. And like, for instance, I just wanted to bring this up. So, Manchester United play Crystal Palace tonight. And we'll talk about more of that later on, obviously. But players available in this game, which Manchester United lost. I was at the game. It was dreadful. It was horrendous. We were crap. In his trusty formation, his starting lineup was Dalot, Varane, Lindelof and Amrabat across the back, Casemiro and Mount, Bruno, Rashford and Palestra, and Rasmus Højlund. Now you're thinking there, like, that's an alright team, but you can see where the injuries have sort of had an effect, i.e. like Amrabat at left back. And then you go onto the bench. Harry Maguire, Anthony Martial, Christian Eriksen, Alejandro Garnacho, Donny van der Beek, Altay Bayindir, Johnny Evans, Scott McTominay, Hannibal Mejbri. We lost that game. Is that not a strong enough squad to beat Crystal Palace at home? You could flip across and go further into the season, like another few months on, and then we played Fulham. Manchester United's defence that day: Lindelof, Maguire, Varane, Dalot. Midfield: Bruno, Garnacho, Casemiro, Mainu, Forson and Marcus Rashford. On the bench, the likes of Johnny Evans, Willy Cambuella, Amrabat, Eriksen, Scott McTominay, Toby Collier, Diallo, Antony. Like, the injury situation, you can sort of bemoan and use as an excuse all of you want. But there's 2 games there, both at Old Trafford against lesser opposition. No disrespect to either side. Both deserve to win them games. He's talking about this completely ballsing up the whole season. I could go back to the Bournemouth game if you want as well, and talk about that one and what the team was that day and what we had available. I can keep doing it forever and a day. I'm not accepting that injuries are an excuse. He goes on about 10 years. Like, these games are games that Manchester United should have won. And if we had have won them games, we'd have been up there fighting for the Champions League right now, not where we are. So for him to use an excuse and use individual games for the excuse of injuries when we've been beaten, it's a bit rich when you've had so many players available. And you look at the list of Manchester United players, like he goes on about, and everyone goes on about the 12 player injury list. Like, just off the top of my head, I know that Willy Cambuella is not a first team player, and you want to actually add Anthony Martial to that list as well. Like, you can take them 2 off straight away. Like, then you're talking about Lindelof and Evans. Like, they're reserve defenders as well. These are not first-team key players all over the pitch. Manchester United have had a good 9 first-team players continuously available throughout the season. Yeah, this last couple of weeks where we struggled with centre-backs, that's when you look at it and go, well, it's a bit crazy and this is a bit unfortunate. Not the rest of the season. Shut up. Stop using it as an excuse. I'm sick of it. Like, it's right now you're going into this game, and I said this at the start of this show. I said, look, he's set this up so he's absolutely covered no matter what happens. If he wins tonight, he's going to look like an absolute miracle worker because he's got no defenders. If he loses tonight, it's the same thing again. Well, what do you want me to do? I haven't got any fit defenders. It's like bollocks. Just get on with it. There's games this season that you could have won. You had more than enough squad to pick from. Like, when you've got that bench there, you cannot be complaining. Those were your decisions. Just to go back on it again, like it winds me up every time I look at it. The game we lost against Crystal Palace, 2 centre-backs, Varane and Lindelof. He had Maguire, he had Johnny Evans and Scott McTominay on the bench. It winds me up. Like, he made the decision to play that defence. Same with Fulham. I'm not having it. He's just used this excuse, the injury excuse thing, for too long now. And I don't think anyone's falling for it. I'm not. I keep seeing the same thing, and I'm like, I just cannot believe even people are taking this seriously right now. Yeah, right now, with no centre-backs, this is the one time that you can actually say this is a bit weird. Like, God, like, this is crazy. How many injuries can we get and cope with? Like, I understand it completely right now. But not to use it for a full season and Manchester United failing. I'm not having that at all. But into what Ten Hag has also been talking about regarding Jadon Sancho. Very interesting one with Jadon Sancho, actually. Which was apology from Jadon Sancho, question mark, as in ask the question. There was a conflict, but let's first finish the season, so stay away from this issue now. Talking like he doesn't want to go into it in detail with Jadon Sancho. Our delegation had a visit with him, and we will keep going with this process. We will continually be in contact and communicate with Jadon. It sort of all goes down the road of, like, the club will continually talk to Jadon Sancho. I don't want nothing to do with Jadon Sancho. The rumour is that United do want to still sell Jadon Sancho. There's no way back for him. We talked the other day about Jadon Sancho not wanting to come back to United, even if Ten Hag has left the football club at the end of the season. So you look at that situation there. I think Ten Hag is just in a position there, and I do feel sorry for him on this side of things in answering questions on Jadon Sancho, because they're irrelevant. They're completely irrelevant right now to where Ten Hag is. He needs to get through these last 5 games and hopefully win every single game. That's what he needs to do to convince everybody that he is the man to stay at Manchester United. Because if he wins the next 5 games for the football clubs, big ask, I know, big ask. Then Manchester United are in the Europa League and we've got another trophy. And then I don't think INEOS will get rid of him. I don't think they'll have it in them, even though people have told me that doesn't matter what he does, he's still going to go. Like, all of this conversation regarding Ten Hag right now, and this sort of feel sorry for him factor, I wonder if it is going to be there tonight after the game, if we do lose that game. That's what I want to know. Modern Samurai is in with a super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Erik Ten Hag claims to fame is what? He beat 2 teams and got washed by Spurs in 2018-19. Outside of that, he won with Ajax, who wins almost every single year anyway. It was like his resume, yes, he was the up-and-coming manager. And I get that. I get why Manchester United are going in for that. I do. Like, we've tried everything else at the time, and I went with Ten Hag. I thought it was the right pick. I'm not going to ride away from that. I thought it was the right one. People have goldfish brains, hence injuries excuse help, says Jordan. If Rashford scores, Hag has been sacked. Adam, who is doing the watch along tonight, yourself or your ghost? Richard, yeah, mate. No, I'm back. Not hiding away, not doing anything like that. Technical issues last night, ballsed everything up. Thanks, Richard, for reminding me of that. But I will be there tonight, yes. Give the video a like, guys. We're just creeping up to the 100 mark. Thank you so much. Just 400, around 400 in the room with us right now. Keep sharing and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, guys. Jay is in the house, everyone. Please do say hello. His claim to fame is he reached the Champions League semi-final the year Poch was a finalist. Poch in capital letters there. 3 goals, 2 assists in 17 matches for Sancho. What a player, says Anita. Yeah, like my argument against Sancho was, like, I wanted to wear his side of the story, but I didn't see the whole, like, I didn't understand the melee to try and keep him. Like, going off form alone, I thought he was crap. I really did. I didn't think he was good enough. And I thought his performances were absolutely garbage. So that's why he wasn't in the team. And that's why he's seen his ass. That's all we know. And that's all we can talk about, because we're never going to hear his side of it. It will be different, obviously. Adam, manager, what would you do? Look, it's a difficult one. If I'm in a position right now and I see a better manager available for Manchester United, I get the better manager. I do. And that's the only way I work about it. A lot of the managers that are being recommended or rumoured to be looking at the United job, I don't want to deal with any of them apart from Tuchel. Like, none of them are good enough. The only way I would is, like, always looking to improve. And if there is a manager out there that wants to come and he's better than what you've got, then I think that's when you make that call and you make that change. But unless that better manager's there, then Ten Hag stays exactly where he is. Like, what is the point in changing the manager? Forget it. We're just going to go backwards again. At least Ten Hag knows what players really are up for the fight. And he can get in with INEOS and go, him, and him, out. We're not going to be able to compete with these players if I'm the manager here at Manchester United. And if that doesn't happen in the summer, then INEOS's reign is going to get off to a horrendous start. My friend's been a Bayern match goer for 15 years, and they don't want Ten Hag anywhere near the place. They'd rather have Tuchel stay. Like, the petition for Tuchel was massive to stay from the Bayern Munich fans as well. Tifo doesn't have the same issues as it does and require OBS. No, it doesn't, Jordan. Thank you for making everyone aware of that one. Episode 2 of the United Couple podcast is out as well at 8 o'clock tonight, guys. I know the game is on, but you'll be able to watch the game and then go settle into the podcast later on, or maybe even watch it the morning after, as there's going to be plenty of content here on FUTV regarding the game tonight. Me and Jay are going to be back right after it. We'll have the warm-up coming up as well, guys, around about 4 o'clock today, so make sure you tuned in for that. And yeah, it's going to be jam-packed from that moment going through with the watch-along, and then, like I said, me and Jay afterwards, and oh, God, I just pray that we actually get something from this game. No way Ten Hag did the Neville interview if he wasn't backed for next season. I don't know, mate. Honestly, I still don't think that was a definite that he's staying at the football club. That's him. Like, so Jim Ratcliffe's come out and said the fans won't be patient enough to wait 5 years. We need to turn this around in 3 years. Ten Hag knows that. Ten Hag, in this interview with Gary Neville, says, Manchester United, we need another 5 years. And then we might be competing for the title. He's already had 2, so that would make it 7 years for Ten Hag. That's where I thought, you know what, maybe he hasn't got. Cheers for that, Stephen, mate. Maybe he hasn't got the backing of INEOS. I wouldn't be surprised if he has, though. Like, it does look that way right now with what's happened this week and the club really pushing the Ten Hag factor. One thing that really miffed me off as well, though, from what Ten Hag was saying, I want to get your opinions on this, actually. I know Jay's in the chat here as well. He'll have a lot to say on this matter, which was Ten Hag's, like, he's pushed back on Jose Mourinho's comments. Ten Hag on Jose Mourinho saying he never had the same level of support as Ten Hag at United. I agree. I completely agree with what Jose Mourinho said there. And Ten Hag has come back on that. And his words said, apart from Mourinho, the managers didn't get the players they wanted, and that is what you need. I am confident we will achieve our goals, but it is tough. It is a tough competition. It is not a 2-horse race anymore. So he's gone in on Jose Mourinho twice there. He is alluding to the fact that Manchester United and Manchester City were fighting for the title when Jose was there, and it was a 2-horse race. He's also gone in saying that all the managers at Manchester United didn't get backed, apart from Jose Mourinho. Now, Mourinho got players, but he also didn't get players. So that's the same as every other manager. I think that's complete and utter bollocks from Ten Hag on that one. And when he goes to say he got backed more than Jose Mourinho, so Jose Mourinho saying that he didn't get the backing Ten Hag did, I agree with him on that for the fact that if we had the Ronaldo situation and Jadon Sancho situation while Jose was in charge, you know what would have happened. So Ten Hag has had more backing than any manager post Sir Alex Ferguson, in my opinion, in a lot of areas. And this was a good thing. This was where the club were trying to change. And this is the only part that I would give benefit to Murto and Arnold for, because they did look to change the culture at Manchester United. Things did change when Ed Woodward left. When Arnold took charge, yeah, you can say he was deluded. The staff were listening to him at meetings thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, we are closing the gap on Manchester City and all of that. But he did try and change the culture at Manchester United for Ten Hag. Like, the backing that Ten Hag got, like, he got a lot of money spent on him in the first summer. Last summer, yeah, you can argue it wasn't great, but it does equate to 400 million. He's averaging 200 million. The club have tried. It's not Ten Hag's fault that they're inept and stupid and couldn't get the amount of deals that we needed to get done for the right amount of money, and we overspent on so many players. But in situations at this football club, Ten Hag has been royally backed. because player power was rife and probably worse than what it was when Ten Hag came in. And he's come in and he's said, actually, Ten Hag, that, look, one of my goals was to change the culture of the football club. And that means that he has got the backing from the football club as well, and everyone above him. Jose Mourinho did not have that. He wanted Anthony Martial out of the door, and it didn't happen because Joe Glazer and Ed Woodward put a stop to it. Perisic wasn't the right type of profile player. He wasn't going to be brought in because it didn't fit the commercial side of things at Manchester United and what that player could bring commercially to the football club. Forget about football and what's really important. It's basically, he's not earning us enough money off the pitch, so we're not bringing him in. It's not that type of profile player we want. That's what Jose was dealing with. And you cannot say, and Ten Hag cannot say, that Jose got the players that he wanted. We all know he wanted Van Dijk and we got Lindelof instead. We all know he wanted Perisic and we got told no. Then he wanted rid of certain players. No. The club pretty much backed Paul Pogba over him, and the manager ended up getting sacked over that side of things. Like, Jose is a serial winner as well. Like, Ten Hag has won nothing. Jose knows his way around football a lot better than what Ten Hag does, and that's no disrespect to Ten Hag. He's nowhere near down the line of what Jose is in his career as a manager. But you cannot come back and say that Jose Mourinho got every single player. Like, Ten Hag has had one really poor summer, which was last summer. The amount of crap that Jose had to deal with as well with certain players, he wouldn't have. Ten Hag would have. I don't think Ten Hag would have lasted 2 minutes under Ed Woodward. I don't. And I get into your comments on that one. More backing. How did Erik Ten Hag get all the players he wanted? No, I just pretty much said it all there, Sterling. Like, it's not just the players. Jose Mourinho wasn't just talking about players. He was talking about situations within the club and backing as well. Like, players that he wanted out, players that were causing a problem. Jose definitely didn't get the support that Ten Hag has got with issues within the football club. And Jose didn't get all the players that he wanted. None of them did. So Ten Hag, I think, has just had a swipe because Jose said something. Jose's right, in my opinion, but Ten Hag has got the right also to defend himself in this. And I'm just saying, look, you cannot say all the other managers didn't get the players and Jose didn't. That is where I'm going with it. And Ten Hag is wrong in what he said there. He's right in fighting his corner and saying, look, every manager has had the same raw deal at Manchester United. If he'd have kept it at that instead of having a swipe back at Jose, he would have come out of this better, I think, Ten Hag, and would have come out better than Jose has. But he's taken the bait, and Jose has pretty much had him over on that one for me. And Ten Hag is not so much looking like a bit of a fool in what he said, but he could have handled it a lot better. Do we get a fee if Bayern wants Erik Ten Hag? Probably yes, because he's still contracted. So Jin says Ten Hag would have went hands on with Pogba in training. I don't know how he would have dealt with it. Like, to be honest, the Pogba situation is hard for anyone to deal with. I think all managers would struggle with Paul Pogba. Interesting to see Paul Pogba's actually. Someone made a point of it the other day on social media about following Wolves now. I'm sure there's some sort of Mendes sort of influence in there. I know he's not his agent, but like Paul Pogba coming back to the Premier League and Wolves, I don't know, that'd be a weird one, wouldn't it? Mount has to start ahead of Eriksen tonight for me. I don't know if Mount's fit, honestly. Welsh Red, it's a worry because I don't think he's ever going to be fully fit. We need this man to be starting games. Everyone's said to me before, he's the one to replace Bruno Fernandes. That's why he's here. Well, no, he's got to be playing games to convince me that he's the man to replace Bruno, because Bruno plays every game. If you're replacing Bruno Fernandes, you need a man that's going to be fit continuously all of the time. Not just here and there, playing 10, 15 minutes here and there for a month and then being injured again and then having to go through that process again. Like, I don't think Mason Mount is going to start one game now until the end of the season. And then count up the games that he has started this season, how many starts he's had. And it just looks like a waste of money. It does. And no matter which way you look at it, Mason Mount has not been properly recruited or researched. They can say that he was part of the recruitment analysis and everything like that, and something that they definitely wanted. It was a Ten Hag signing. Ten Hag wanted Mount, quite simply. Didn't want anyone else, and he wanted Mason Mount in midfield, and he can't use him. He couldn't use him when he was fit, and now we're looking at him as what? Like, I don't know what he is. I want to see the lad play. I really do. But I'm scared he's just going to crumble on the pitch. Cheers for over 100 likes, guys. Really appreciate that. Make sure you keep liking the video. Let's get that up to 150. Download our SofaScore app. Bottom right-hand corner there. The best football app that there is on the market. It is completely free, guys. Just get on it. Download it. It's fantastic. There is a link in the description as well for it. Anything you need in-game stats-wise, we'll be using it tonight on TIFO for player ratings, the odds of the game, scores, everything like that. It's fantastic. Stats is bang on the money. And optimally me on the left-hand side there, bringing the doctors to your home. Waits in line for your checkups no more. Get all of the tests done in the comfort of your home with their easy-to-follow instructions, and then results back to you within 48 hours on their database. There's loads of different tests you can take for any medical issue out there. Get on that QR code, scan it, use my discount code as well. All is explained as soon as you get onto the website, guys. It is straightforward as it comes and stress-free, which is the most important thing. Thank you again to our partners here on FUTV. Into the chat we go again. Where are we at with everyone? Imagine a few seasons back telling us we'd have Sancho and Mount. We'd have imagined them both in the starting 11 each week. Yep. Scary. Like, really scary, like how these players have fallen off or the issues that they've had at Manchester United. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? Mount is a better Fred, slightly. Well, Alex, you know what? He's not, because he's not fit. And Fred was fit a lot more. A lot of people have said that they would take Fred back in the side this season. It would give us a lot more energy in that midfield. We are missing that Fred energy in midfield. It's crazy, isn't it? Jordan, do you think United is going to win tonight? That's people talking in the chat amongst themselves. I will talk about it in the warm-up show, 4 o'clock, guys. Make sure that you're ready for that. And, yeah, make sure that you are tuned in later on as well. If you are a member on T4, there is a members video that is out on the channel now. So if you are in green and you have got that membership, join us for the watch-along later on, starting at 7:30 tonight on T4. The link and the instructions, if you haven't already logged in, is all in the description on that video, guys. Ten Hag wanted Mount, but more than he wanted Kim Min-jae. Or was that United that effed up their priorities because they thought Kim was in the bag already? Honestly, can't answer that question, Peter. I don't know what the priorities were. It does look like Mason Mount was made priority. We know he's been talking as well regarding Harry Kane in this interview. He wanted Harry Kane. So I just hope that INEOS have got their targets. Like, forget about managers for a moment. Like, INEOS know what this team needs. They've got football people in there watching it right now. They will take the dialogue from Ten Hag. And this is another reason why I think Ten Hag is probably pushing me to convincing me that he is actually going to be in situ at the start of next season. Because there's no one else there to tell INEOS right now, apart from Ten Hag, what players we need. So they should be right now already in the market looking. And hopefully they've got this all planned out. It needs to be, they need to be on top of it. It needs to be fully planned out and ready to go for the start of the transfer window opening. We know what type of players we need. We know the profile. And INEOS will know what type of football they want to play, how they're going to play it. Only comes with the changing of the players that are in the squad right now that can't play this certain way, proven this season, and bringing in players that we know have got the capabilities to play. Like, how much money can we spend now? There's a lot of planning and a lot of organising and priorities, like what the comment said there. Who was it who said it now? Peter. When Peter said that there, like, priorities are a big thing when it comes to the transfers this summer. What are the priorities? What do we need the most? Because we cannot be going out willy-nilly. Like, if we haven't got a lot of money to spend because of this financial fair play situation and that not being rectified in time for us to spend more money, then the priorities of certain players and player positions start to come into the fore even more. So I think that's where Manchester United need to be looking. Like, managers aside, the club need to be out there right now finding the right deals and players. We should be looking into about 20, 25 different players right now. Yeah, we're not going to get them all, I know that, but you need to start narrowing them down, bringing them into groups of 3 or 4 players to pick from for certain positions. We should have all of them players ready to go now. Like, we know who we want now. And let's see. We'll see how organised INEOS are. This is why this whole push to get everyone in the regime and in the structure before the end of the season. This is why it's getting this overload right now, you could say. But yeah, guys, that is it for today. Well, no, it's not. That's it for this lunch. I'm back in a few hours' time for the warm-up show where we start fully concentrating on the game tonight, which is Palace. After that, obviously, we're on to TIFO for all of the members as well. Make sure you're logged in and tuned in for that one, guys. But I'll be back at 4 o'clock today, guys, for the warm-up. The podcast is out at 8 o'clock tonight as well. Then we've got me and Jay as well, also on FUTV. So there's loads of content coming your way today, guys, and over the next couple of days with everything going on. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. That is your update on what's going on with Manchester United. We knew about Ten Hag and Bayern Munich a couple of days ago. We covered it then. It's the impact of what that means right now has been more important and what everyone should be talking about. He's not going anywhere until the end of the season. What does all this talk with Bayern Munich do to the situation now? That's what's important, nothing else. Guys, appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. New members, super chats, everyone involved in the chat and the live chat. Make sure you get your comments in on the video once it finishes the live and goes out on YouTube as well, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you all at 4 o'clock. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.